Okay, think about a story, maybe the story that just perfectly nails romance, but also has this like really sharp wit and says something important about society. You know the one I mean. It's been around since 1813, never gone out of print, and honestly, it still pops up everywhere in pop culture. Well, welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, that's exactly where we're going. We are diving into Jane Austen's absolute classic, Pride and Prejudice.
Sure.
And our mission really is to figure out why. Why does this novel, written, centuries ago, still feel so alive, so relevant today? We're using insights from a pretty comprehensive book review to maybe uncover some things even diehard fans haven't thought about. So, let's paint the picture. We're talking early 19th century English countryside. Think balls, think social climbing, well, for women, think marriage being incredibly important. It's this backdrop that lets Austen blend romance, some really biting social commentary, and history in a way that just lasts. Okay, so the story itself, most people know the basics, right? The Bennet family, 5 daughters, and Mrs. Bennet, who is just laser focused on getting them married off.
Right, that's her main goal in life, pretty much.
And then, bam, enter Mr. Bingley, rich, nice guy, and his friend Mr. Darcy, who's even richer, but,
Yeah.
well, a lot more complicated.
Exactly. And the review we looked at really hammers home how Austen immediately sets up this conflict. It's not just, oh, they didn't like each other at first.
Yeah.
It's about Elizabeth Bennet, smart, independent, witty, clashing head-on with Darcy, who comes across as incredibly arrogant. The review argues this is Austen showing us right away how society's rules and, frankly, personal biases, pride on his side, prejudice on hers, just create this huge gap between them.
It's like those first impressions are almost weaponized by the social structure itself.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. It's not just them, it's the world they live in enabling those misjudgments.
And what's key, and the review points this out too, is that it's not static. They don't just stay mad at each other. Both Lizzie and Darcy, they kind of have to face their own flaws. Elizabeth's habit of judging people super quickly gets challenged. And Darcy's pride, which the review suggests is as much about his social status as, personal arrogance, starts to get chipped away.
Right. It's a journey for both of them, and it's not happening in a vacuum. You've got the subplots, like Jane and Bingley's much smoother romance as a contrast.
A gentler path, for sure.
Yeah. And then there's Lydia's elopement, which is messy.
Oh, very messy.
And the review frames that as Austen showing the real danger zone for women then. Like, one wrong step, fueled by society maybe not paying enough attention, could ruin a whole family.
Wow. Yeah, that puts a different spin on Lydia's story. It's not just youthful folly.
Not at all. There are serious stakes, and ultimately, the transformation is what makes the ending so powerful. Pride becomes humility, prejudice turns into understanding. It's like the iconic happy ending, but the review stresses it's earned. They really grow to deserve it.
Okay, so that love story is huge, obviously. But Pride and Prejudice is way more than just Darcy and Elizabeth falling in love.
Yeah.
Let's dig into those themes, using what our review highlighted, starting with the big ones. Pride, prejudice. The review says Austen isn't just pointing fingers at the characters, is she?
No, not just individual flaws. It's more about dissecting how these deep-seated biases, how those powerful first impressions really cloud our judgment and, how that reflects the blind spots in society itself at the time.
Right, so connecting that to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
What about marriage?
Marriage and society. Crucial theme. The review really gets into the intense pressure on women. It wasn't just about finding love. It was often about pure financial survival.
Like marriage was their only real option for security.
For many women of that class, absolutely. The review highlights it as basically the only respectable career path available. Then there's class and social mobility, or the lack thereof. Austen paints this really clear picture of Regency England's rigid hierarchy. The review emphasizes how your birth, your money, decided almost everything. Who you could socialize with, who you could marry. Moving up was incredibly hard.
And the family itself, the Bennets, play a huge role in showing this, right? The family dynamics.
Definitely. The review argues Mr. and Mrs. Bennet aren't just comic figures. They represent different kinds of parental failures, almost.
Failures. How so?
Well, Mr. Bennet is witty but detached, kind of washes his hands of responsibility, which has consequences. Mrs. Bennet is obsessed, but maybe not in the most helpful way.
Yeah, her anxieties are real, but her methods are sometimes questionable.
Exactly. And the sister relationships, especially Lizzie and Jane, show that support system, but also how different temperaments navigate that world.
It's complex.
Very. And the last big theme the review really focuses on is self-reflection and growth. This is universal. We see the characters, especially our main two, really looking inward, questioning their own beliefs, learning to see past surface appearances.
That journey of realizing you were wrong about someone or about yourself.
Precisely. And the review suggests that's a huge part of why it still resonates. It's a fundamental human thing, that capacity for change and understanding.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. We can't talk about this book without talking about how Austen writes. Her writing style. The review calls it witty, precise, full of irony. How does she pull that off? Balancing the romance and the sharp social critique.
It's quite brilliant, actually, and the review points to her dialogue and her subtle humor as key tools. She critiques the society without, hitting you over the head with it.
Right, it doesn't feel like a lecture.
Not at all. And the narrative voice itself often has this undercurrent of sarcasm, almost. It makes even that formal 19th century language feel so alive and engaging. The review specifically mentions her use of free indirect discourse, that technique where the narrator sort of slips into a character's thoughts without saying she thought.
Ah, okay. So you get the character's perspective, but still with that slightly detached, ironic narrator overlaying it?
Exactly. It's very clever. It lets us get inside their heads while still allowing for that satirical edge.
And speaking of getting inside heads, the characters, they just feel so real, don't they? Even now. Elizabeth Bennet first. The review basically crowns her one of literature's greatest heroines, right?
Yeah.
Sharp, independent.
Oh, absolutely. Her intelligence, her moral compass. She's not just rebelling for kicks, she genuinely thinks for herself.
And Darcy, Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy. Rich, handsome, yes. Starts off pretty standoffish.
The aloof archetype.
But that transformation he goes through, the review kind of suggests he's the template for basically every brooding romantic hero since, doesn't it?
Pretty much. That journey from pride to vulnerability is incredibly compelling, but the review also stresses how important the supporting cast is. They're not just background noise.
True. Like Jane Bennet.
Yeah, Jane, kind, beautiful, maybe a bit too trusting. She's a perfect foil for Elizabeth's skepticism.
And Bingley, Darcy's friend.
Bingley's the nice, easygoing one. Shows how much smoother life is if you're naturally agreeable, maybe. And Rich.
Can't forget Rich.
Never. Then the parents, Mr. Bennet, witty but passive, Mrs. Bennet, anxious and sometimes embarrassing, but you see why she's anxious.
Yeah, her situation makes her actions, if not excusable, at least understandable.
Right. And Lydia, the impulsive youngest sister. Her actions create this huge crisis, highlighting the family's vulnerability like we talked about earlier.
Right.
Each character really serves a purpose in Austen's larger picture.
So, okay, pulling this all together, what does it all mean? Why are we still talking about this book? Its impact and legacy are just huge.
Undeniable.
Never out of print since 1813. That's staggering. And the review mentions all the adaptations, the faithful BBC dramas, sure, but also things like Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yep. A direct modern retelling, basically. And even Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Which is a thing.
It is definitely a thing. It just shows how flexible and enduring the core story is.
So why is it a must-read, according to the review? What are the key reasons it holds up?
Well, the review lays out a few core things. First, that timeless romance. The whole enemies to lovers, slow burn thing between Elizabeth and Darcy. That's become the blueprint. We see it everywhere.
The OG enemies to lovers.
Totally. Second, the relatable characters. Even though they lived 200 years ago, their flaws, their hopes, their growth, it feels modern. You recognize these people.
Mm-hmm. Their struggles feel familiar.
Exactly. Third, the social commentary. It's sharp. It talks about gender, class, marriage in ways that still make you think. It lifts it way beyond just a romance.
Definitely more than fluff.
Way more. And finally, just the brilliant writing, the wit, the irony, the dialogue. It's just a joy to read. The review really emphasizes that Austen's skill with language is a huge part of the magic.
So understanding Pride and Prejudice, based on this deep dive in the review's insights, it's not just about ticking off a classic. It's about getting a handle on a foundational piece of literature that genuinely still shapes stories today.
Absolutely. It's a cultural touchstone for a reason. Its DNA is in so much of what we read and watch now.
So we've taken quite a journey through Pride and Prejudice. The iconic romance, yes, but also the characters, the social critique, Austen's incredible style, all seen through the lens of this comprehensive review.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground.
And the main takeaways, I think, are pretty clear. How powerful overcoming first impressions can be. That ongoing tension between what society expects and what you personally want, and just the beauty of, actually learning and growing as a person.
All wrapped up in Austen's amazing writing. So here's something to leave you with, maybe mull over. We've talked about Elizabeth and Darcy navigating the pride and the prejudices of their time over 200 years ago. But Are we really that different now? Or do those same kinds of biases, the same kind of pride, just show up in maybe new disguises in our own relationships and how we see the world today?